Okay, so let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive into a forensic report, and it makes a really staggering claim.
It's a heavy one.
Yeah. It alleges that the 1987 sinking of the fishing vessel Deep Sea 2 wasn't an accident.
No, the terms they use are structured sabotage event and industrial homicide.
And the loss of the crew skippers Vane Christensen, Bede Parker, and Stu Hamilton, it claims that was intentional.
Well, the core thesis is that state agents created what the report calls a convergent operational network
A network for what?
to liquidate the company, Deep Sea Fisheries Ltd. The goal, they argue, was to seize its main asset.
Which wasn't the boat.
No, not the boat. It was its kinetic value, its catch history. That's what determines your quota allocation.
So the crew's lives were just collateral damage.
The report phrases it as expended as collateral damage in a state-sanctioned liquidation. It was all, allegedly, to pave the way for the new quota management system.
The QMS,
Right, yeah.
shifting from fishing ability to just owning quota.
Exactly. And the report gets very specific about how it was done. It points to one thing they call the weld of death.
Okay, tell us about that. What was the actual physical mechanism here?
So a heavy hydraulic winch was welded onto a really unstable part of the deck.
An unauthorized modification.
Completely. And this small change created a catastrophic shift in balance, a lateral lever arm, which drastically lowered the vessel's stability, its metacentric height.
Which means it was basically guaranteed to fail.
Guaranteed. The second, it was under maximum torsional stress.
Which is exactly what happens when you're hauling these huge nets of orange roughy from, 800 to 1,200 meters deep?
That's the moment. The forensic conclusion is that the ship would have capsized almost instantly.
Wow.
But here's what signals intent, according to the source. Two things. First, this total absence of approval. No naval architect would ever sign off on that modification.
It's just too dangerous.
Of course. And second, the vessel was ordered directly out to deep water. It completely bypassed the mandatory shallow water stability trials.
So they deliberately skipped the safety checks.
Yes. And that ensured that when it failed, the evidence, the weld of death, would be lost, unrecoverable.
At the bottom of the ocean.
The report calls it administrative nullification. The evidence is administratively erased by the circumstances of the failure.
So why? Why go to such extreme lengths?
It all comes down to financial coercion. The company, Deep Sea Fisheries, was already in what the report calls a death spiral.
Because of the deemed value system.
Exactly. For anyone who doesn't know, deemed value was a fine for catching fish you didn't have quota for.
Right.
But, and this is the crucial part, the fine was set higher than the market price of the fish.
So you were guaranteed to lose money.
It created mandated insolvency. The final order to sail was an ultimatum: get to sea or lose your jobs. This was to override the crew, who already had serious concerns about the boat's stability.
So you bankrupt them by design, and then you seize the assets. The report calls this the robbing Peter to pay Paul protocol.
That's the grand scheme they lay out. At the time, the Crown was under enormous pressure to settle Treaty of Waitangi claims. It needed capital.
And this was the capital.
The allegation is that the seized catch history, the quota assets taken from independent operators like the Jensens, became the currency to fund the massive 1992 Sea Lord deal and other settlements.
So they're satisfying one major national debt by, effectively stealing the asset base from another group of citizens.
And that brings it all to the present day. The claimant is demanding 305 million New Zealand dollars.
For what?
For restoration and what they call ghost income. That's the profit made by others from the seized quota over the last 35 years.
And there's an ultimatum attached to this, isn't there? Protocol 777.
Yes. It's an ultimatum to the Crown. Settle the claim, or the claimant will move to expose those major treaty settlements as, and this is a direct quote, the fruit of the poisonous tree.
Which could do what? Dissolve the Waitangi tribunals.
By proving their capital base was founded on industrial homicide. The implications are just massive. The entire economic architecture of the modern fishing industry, they claim, was built on this one event.
So here's the final thought for you to take away. If a nation's economic stability is, in fact, built on the deliberate, catastrophic loss of 3 men, does the market transfer that followed ever equal justice? What does it mean when a family's kinetic ability, their actual skill and work, is legislated out of existence just to create a static asset for someone else? Something to think about.